Word on the street is Kamala Harris administration is expecting Joe Biden, or wants Joe Biden, to step down as president of the United States of America to allow Kamala Harris to finish out the Biden-Harris campaign as the first female president of the United States. I haven't gone over the video, I just heard about it. So we're gonna go over this together. And I'm gonna give you all my before, I'm gonna of course narrate during, and I'm probably gonna give you all some after. But I'm gonna tell you, my initial impressions of this is that this is a sign of many things. This is a sign that the Democratic Party is out of touch with reality. They're out of touch and they cannot deal with the truth. See, the Democratic Party wants to blame the Kamala Harris loss on racism, on all the isms. You know what I'm saying? All the ism, racism, chauvinism, misogynism, all of this, right? And again, I have to even say this. I have to say what I'm about to say. I have to say that sure, there are some people out there who are misogynistic, who probably voted for Trump because they're misogynistic. Sure, there are some people who could fall under the umbrella of racist, right? Or anti-Black racism, more specifically, who voted for Trump simply because they didn't want to see a woman of color in the office. But y'all have to understand these are outliners. This is not the reason why Kamala Harris lost. And the fact that these people cannot understand, nor fathom, nor grasp the reality, which is that many American people, irrespective of their political orientation, were sick and tired of the direction the United States was going the last 4 years. And I'm laughing about it, but it's really not funny. It's not a game at all. I said it once, I'll say it again. American politics determine global politics. This is a very serious thing. But I'm laughing at it because it's just like, man, like what has happened? This sounds like 1611 plantation talk. And I'm about to say some things. And look, just because I'm saying this, if you're not Black, I'm not gonna, I hate to say this, or I shouldn't say I hate to say this, but I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, I don't want to hear non-Black people repeating the things I'm about to say. You know what I'm saying? Certain things I can say, right? But this sound like some 1611 slave talk. This sound like, begging Massa Biden to allow, Kamammy to go on ahead and step in and direct and show the slaves that there's hope in the future for, look, this is 2024. You understand me? This is 2024. People are where they are in life, majority, by and large, because of their own action or inaction, their own decisions. You cannot point me to a single racist law. I'm not saying racism doesn't happen. I'm not saying sexism doesn't happen. But you cannot point me to a single racist nor sexist law in America. So with that being said, yes, there are always buttholes, jackasses, donkeys, okay, who will try to get in the way of your progress. But that is true in every element of life. You're always going to encounter haters. So what we really need to be discussing is how you deal with haters. Haters come in many different shapes and sizes. There's a lot of people hating on white people right now. And I'm not here to talk about all that, but I'm saying you got to know how to deal with your haters at the end of the day and not allow people to block you from your success. But with no further ado, I'm going to go on ahead and share my screen. And we're going to get into this little clip here.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he can fulfill.
Now, hold up. Who is this individual? Before we get too far into this, Jamal Simmons, bald-headed brother, African-American, right? CNN political commentator. Okay, maybe he's not with her. I hope he ain't with her campaign. But let's continue.
Transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
He would absolve from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th.
Look at this, sisters. Look at this. Look how they looking at him, first and foremost. Look how they looking at him. This brother here is progressive. And you could tell he thought this through. He had already thought about this before he went up here. He already knew what he was going to say. Let's go back.
He would absolve from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat, and it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats.
Okay, this is now jump.
Oh my God. So the Democrats these are the ideas. This is the idea in terms of how you're going to fix the problem in the Democrat. Oh my God. This is telling me right here that there's no hope for the Democratic Party. He says, I want y'all to pay attention to what he said.
This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats.
Okay, this is now jump.
So he's saying this is the time to change the perspective of how people see the Democratic Party. If they didn't understand that we're going full gung-ho identity politics before, or they're gonna get it now. They're gonna understand after we do this. They're gonna get it now. It's all about the media. It's all about the image. These people are going from bad to worse. This is terrible. The American people decided that Kamala Harris was not a better candidate for the presidency than Donald Trump. Any effort to try to go against what the American people have decided in our constitutional or legal election process is a subversion, it's a diversion from the will of the American people. So whose interests does this serve? The question is this. The left always try to make it seem like the right is the radical side. They make it seem like the right, the Republicans are these evil, just dictators and will do all these negative things. But when you look at what they're actually trying to shove down the throats of the American people, you realize the reality is the exact opposite. They are the party of radicalism, non-structured chaos, symbolism, brownie points. Let's continue.
From an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
It says here a former top Kamala Harris staffer has suggested there's still a way for his former boss to become the president of the United States of America. Oh my Lord. Look at Kamammy. All right, Kamammy. See, so this is my thing, man. This is a bad look for Kamala Harris. This is a desperate, terrible look for Black Democrats. For Black Democrats. See, look, I'm of the belief that we as Black people, we as Black Americans, I'm talking about particularly FBA, ADOS, African Americans, bruh. But this really is true for Black people in America in general, that we are talented and capable enough as individual people to win an election in a fair and firm way. And if you lose, it has to be fair play. You have to just understand that you lost. And ain't no accepting of brownie points. Ain't no maneuvering. I'm a maneuver away to try to find a family. They're not going to let go of the identity politics strategy, which I've already talked about in my last video. Make sure y'all check that out. Is identity politics, good for the better or for the worse of Black America? And in that video, I'm telling y'all that identity politics is a losing strategy. It might work in an area where the racial demographics are simply Black and white, or majority Black and some white. But when you talk about what America is, a multicultural, country of many, many different races, people from all over the world, you can't play identity politics and become the president of the United States. And let me make something abundantly clear. I understand, I completely get this idea, the symbolic nature of what it means to have a Black president, well, if you want to call her Black, a person of color president. Okay, but we're gonna call her Black for the sake of this video. a black president, a female president. Okay. I understand that she would be the first to do that. But my thing is this, why can't we find someone who is qualified, who is the best candidate for the job? See, people make it seem like Donald Trump is just like some chump somewhere. They make it seem like Donald Trump is just some washed up fooligan. He already was the president of the United States of America. He obviously had a lot of supporters. So to go against and to run against Donald Trump is challenging. And the way that Kamala Harris came close to beating him is something that her party should be proud of. Because really, as I've said before in other videos, I feel very strongly that they set Kamala Harris up for failure. The way that they ran their campaign set her up for failure is the reality. And it's probably because it happened so fast, she wasn't prepared, and who knows? But the reality is this whole notion of identity politics, this whole notion of like, I want to use a black person, I want my such and such to be a black person and a black female, and I want the nah, man, we got to start thinking differently. We got to start thinking, and I believe that this is the reason again why this didn't work. Black Americans and Americans in general are thinking policy first. It is 2024. It is not 1611. It is not 1864. It is not 1912. Rosa Parks and all them folks. My father was born 1927, Beaumont, Texas. You know what I'm saying? His generation and all the generation before them, family majority of them is gone. They gone, and you'll be blessed to have a conversation with one to understand what they really went through. But the bottom line is the way, like this plantation talk ain't it, bruh. This is not it. We need to start talking about policy. And we're going to make our determination in terms of who we're going to vote for based on these things. Why? Because we're not in paradise in America. We are facing many challenges in this country, economic challenges, immigration challenges, the threat of World War III. And all of these very real situations trumped, if you will, this identity politic narrative. Because at the end of the day, the aforementioned things are actually bigger issues. Okay. So my thing is this. Yes, Kamala Harris could have won and would have been the first black female president of the United States. But for her to do it, she had to be the best candidate for the job. And in this case, she was not. So the Democratic Party, if you're a part of that party and you're listening, y'all desperately need to wake up and realize that your loss is not due to no racism. Your loss is not due to xenophobia and all this other phobias and all this stuff and all this crap that Barack Obama was talking about, you know, chauvinism and all this other crap. That's not why you lost. You lost because the better candidate won. Kamala Harris was not there to solve the problems that the American people cared about. So the American people did not vote for her. Y'all are expecting identity politics to carry you to victory, and that is a losing strategy. You need to care about what the people that you want to vote for you, you need to care about what they want. Instead of talking at them and telling them what you ain't going to do for them, you need to start understanding what are their concerns and addressing them. And the Democrats failed to do that. Henceforth, they lost. They lost. They need to learn from this because the American people do deserve better. The last thing I'm going to say is this. You know, Barack Obama, this guy's going to say, well, you know, I don't see as much of a turnout as it was when I first ran. And I wonder why. Because black people at that time and this country at the time, in part, was foolish enough to believe in identity politics with him as the first black male president because he had that smooth tongue. He was male, he was black, he had a smooth tongue, and he was a good candidate. He wasn't a bad candidate. He just didn't meet the expectation that I think a lot of black people had set out for him. So what that taught black people at that time is that identity politics is not, it can't be trusted because you could put somebody in the office who looked just like you and they could do something that's going to be completely contrary to what is in your best interest. So I'd rather have just being straightforward and transparent. I'd rather have somebody in office who don't look like me, who's going to do the things that's going to benefit me than someone who looks like me, who's going to do things and pass policies that are in direct opposition to my core beliefs. So when we start talking about some of the more core beliefs, some of the more important issues that I totally disagree with some of the Democrats on, I don't care about at that point your race or your gender. I care about your policy. And this is the target that I think the Democrats need to try to address and hit. Until then, I don't want to hear this plantation talk, bro. Like, retire this, man. Take that soggy narrative, that weak approach, and throw it in the trash completely and come with something new. These Democrats sound like slaves, bro. Y'all sound like mammies. Y'all sound like this is, bruh. It's 2024, man. We are ready to make power moves. We are intellectual. We are courageous. We are strong. Yes, a lot of black folks want reparations. That is true. But the handout, this type of symbolic gesture, these brownie points, ain't it. We're not going for none of that. We want specifics, bruh, and we want to earn it. We want to earn it because we believe we're in position to, and we're ready to. So get this plantation talk, get this retirement, bruh. Let it rest. Let it rest. You dig? Hey, man. Look, man. 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 You better thank a union member. Like, share, subscribe, fam. Comment below. Tell me what y'all think, man. Till we chat again, I'm out of here.